hate the term girl bosses. We aren't girl bosses. We're just bosses. Being a woman in media or any male-dominated field is not for the weak. God, I am not one of your strongest soldiers. On top of that, can you imagine being a creative in your family and nobody understanding all of the work that you put in? Woo! This is a real job, Grandma. So please stop putting us in boxes. And this is to all of the women that are trailblazing and resisting the urge to cuss a nigga out. This is for us.
Niggas ain't shit.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Diamonds Dosage podcast. It's your girl Diamond, and I'm sitting here with two beautiful women, my girls. I'm really happy to have them on my team. Miss Tye, Miss Cindy.
I'm at school with my students. I'm triggered.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Yes, my girls. Today we're going to talk about women in work and women in the industry. And I think I have the perfect guest to come on the episode and talk about this. We work very closely with each other. I've worked with both of these ladies for years now. We all just wrapped up the last season of the podcast, which was amazing. And I learned so much from this last season working with Tye and Cindy. It's been a little different this season. So we're going to get into all of that in the journey of our success and the journey of just being a woman in the media, in the industry. So as I do with everybody, I want y'all to introduce yourself a little bit more.
I'm going to
Tye.
Damn, I'm going to be the one to go first. Hey, y'all. My name is Tye. I am the executive producer of the Diamonds Dosage podcast. I wear a lot of different hats and do a lot of different things, producing. I'm an educator. I do area, a whole bunch of shit. So it just depends on the day for me. But I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
And my name is Cindy. I am a producer of the podcast, in addition to quite a few other things as well, like Tye. I have my own digital media production company, Morley Cinful Productions. I, too, dabble in education. Cindy love the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm forgetting so many things.
Yeah, because you taught me.
Entrepreneur, there's a few things.
Let's talk about your Tommy post because
What job, Tommy?
she posted what job, Tommy. Then you listed all of these jobs that you've created, all of these things that you've been working on. What did that mean? Like, what did that post mean?
So one, sometimes I'm just a jackass, and I'm trying to, I know, but for real, I'm really trying to find a balance with social media and as far as like what I post, because if I'm like 100% honest with y'all, I don't give a shit about it. Like it's purely, entertaining for me the days that I'm just sitting like scrolling through TikTok, right?
Yeah.
However, I understand its importance to a degree, especially with the field that we're in and the doors that social media can open up for you. But I'm not a person that likes to live by like society's rules per se. Like I'm not into trends. There you go. I think that's the best way to put it. And IG is all aesthetic now.
Right.
So, but it's like,
aesthetic.
how can I present what I do? Because you got people in this ear like, well, you need to say more about what you do, what you are, blah, blah, blah. But stay true to myself. And that's all it is. And it's kind of like a joke in my family. My mom be saying that shit to her. I don't have a real job. She knows that I do, but like, she doesn't understand, the jumping off the porch and just choosing to be a full-time entrepreneur. So it was really just a play on that, like, I mean, I got jobs. I can make it happen. Like,
we know.
I ain't gonna starve.
We
know.
know.
Look at me, you know what I mean? But that's all it is. Just call me Tommy with no job.
Okay. Well, you have many jobs, and I love the fact that you said like about you shared your experience with your mom and how she doesn't think it's a real job. So we definitely gonna get into that a little bit later. But I do want to start with the question: What do y'all think it takes to be like a leader or like a boss?
I mean, first of all, just naturally being a leader. For me, I'm a natural leader. I have to always lean out. I gotta try not to always say something or be in the forefront. That's something that I've always had to work on. But I feel like just believing in yourself is something that's very important, especially as a woman. And knowing and having, I think, a good support system helps you be a boss, because I believe that you can't do a lot of stuff by yourself. Like, you need other people to work with and help you and be a sounding board, because that's why I feel like people fall off at. Like, they think they the only ones that can do this shit, and that's just not true, right? It's not always about you. It's about building community.
Yes.
So I feel like that's what it takes for me.
I feel like it takes women to make it happen.
Yes.
I think that's a good point, though.
I do.
Everybody,
I do.
you need one woman on your team, at least one.
Because women make shit happen. Like working with y'all versus working with men, like y'all don't fucking play. Like things have to be done. We have due dates.
Right.
Y'all gonna say exactly like what's going on, what's wrong, what's happening with the content, what's happening with this, and this. And it's just like men are not as thorough as that. But do men take care of business? They absolutely do. But they don't look at the details of things, I feel like.
What's so funny about you saying that? I know there's a few men who will admit that. You know, most men will let pride get in the way. But shout out to Corey DeMond. I remember a long time. He's multifaceted, but I think he's probably most popular known for his clothing line Gravy. And a while ago, he put up an Instagram story, and he was like, I'm paraphrasing, but like my entire team, my entire executive team is full of women, and in hindsight, I realized he was manifesting that, but I thought at the time that's what the fuck was going on.
Shout out to Corey.
I was like, that's dope as hell, and it didn't hit me until he responded like, yeah, like essentially I'm manifesting. I was like, oh fuck, but like it's just the fact that he's putting it out there, and like he knew that, and like I agree, like you can get a lot done with a team of women, like in. I'm not saying it has to be all women. I don't agree there because I do think you need some balance because I think one of the keys to being a good leader is self-awareness.
Yes.
In the same way that like men can be blinded by their pride, so can women, or they can be blinded by other things. Like I hate when people just label women emotional, but you know, to be fair, we are the more emotional. Well, I'm going to say we're the more outwardly emotional creature.
Yeah, say
because
that.
men are emotional as fuck, but
they never show it. Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Okay.
That self-awareness, I think, is key to being a leader, and also the yearning and just the ability to always be willing to learn.
Yes.
That's what makes it
I think that was a great answer. Just being a student and a teacher, you got to know when it's time to take on your role and adjust to things. Yeah. Speaking of women, I hate the term like girl boss, and just because it's become, I understand like the empowerment behind it and how women use it like to justify, like solidify their position in society or whatever, like they stamping themselves. But at what point is it, I'm just a boss, like I'm not a girl boss, like what point, I mean, I know we're going to always be women, but at what point is it where women will be recognized for their work and like just their work only? Why do we always have to be several things when we are in business? We have to be smart. We have to be sexy. We have to be all these things in one thing. We can't just present our work.
It's like, you know how they tell black people you got to be twice as good as white people.
Yeah.
Like, as a black woman, you got to be quadruple as good.
Yes.
Like, twice as good as the white people, twice as good as the man, plus blah, 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 blah. So I would say, at least to the girl boss thing, I totally get why you hate the phrase. I don't know if I'm as anti, but I do, because I feel like it can go both ways. Like sometimes you have to specify to empower this group that's been just put down for so long.
That's
but
true.
It's like, I don't know. I really think in another life I was a man.
Same. That's
I was a nigga in my past life.
I was a
I
fucking
really
man.
was. So like that girly shit.
Yes.
Like so
Right.
that part of me is totally with you. Like no, I'm just a boss.
Right.
Because some people might use it in a condescending way, and others may just like be giving you a compliment.
Yeah. I think the context of how you use it is very important as well. It's just
I
like,
agree.
we out here doing more than these niggas.
Oh,
you know what I'm
that's not
saying?
even a
Moving harder
fucking
than these
question.
hustling harder than these niggas. Don't play.
That's not a question. Like, it makes me think about when we talk about rappers. Like, a lot of women rappers, like, they always say, like, you don't have to put the fact that I'm a woman in front of it because I can out-rap some of these niggas.
Right.
And that is so,
female.
yes.
I hate the word female.
Oh, I hate female. Like, just, that shit make my skin crawl. But, because a lot of the rappers that are women can't out-rap a lot of very popular rappers right now. That's not even a fucking question. So I agree with Cindy. It just depends on the context that you use it in. I don't give a damn if you call me a girl boss, just respect me, right?
And
like,
make sure my check on time.
That's it. I don't give a damn.
Please make sure her check on time.
Okay, please, because then we're gonna have a talk. Well,
I want to talk about assertiveness, and because working closely with y'all actually have taught me how to be a little bit more assertive and just say what the fuck you got to say and not giving a fuck about not giving a fuck, but saying it with the most respect, getting your point across, and making shit happen. Has your assertiveness ever like landed you in a position where it was uncomfortable working with somebody? She smiled.
I'm screaming. Cindy turned
crazy.
right and looked at me because I'm probably the most assertive out of us three. I always was raised to, like, my dad has never, well, one, I have two parents that just don't play. If you're into astrology, I tell people all the time, my dad's a Capricorn, mom is an Aries. I couldn't be a weak bitch if I tried, right? So I have learned, like, the balance of talking. For me, I always tell people you can take that up with you and God or whoever you serve, right? Because I believe in whatever I'm saying is with love. I believe you can be honest and just not disrespect people. A lot of times it has become awkward when people don't like to hear feedback at all. That's always been the thing.
Yes.
And I also notice with men, it's harder to give them feedback because it's coming from a woman, right? But I still don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm gonna say what I have to say, and for me, we could talk about it, we can have a discussion, but at the end of that discussion, you just gotta know I still said what I said, and we can work on it. But
and I still love you,
and I still love you, and genuinely, because if I didn't love you, I just would have been like, no, I can't work with you.
Right.
I believe when you do give feedback and you are assertive, that just shows that you're serious, right? But I've learned to kind of have sandwich feedback because it just depends on who you're talking to. I don't think you always got to slice and dice somebody up to be assertive. Just be direct. And that's something that I've learned to sit in, especially with being a woman in the male-dominated industry. But, yeah, it has been some times that it got awkward and we talk about it and we move on and we just say that, like, maybe we can't work together. And that's okay because I mean that because I know a lot of times as a woman, we say things that we don't necessarily mean. And a lot of people like, damn.
What do you mean we say it out of emotion?
So you know how when usually a man is like, you mad? You like, I'm not mad. No, if I say I'm not mad, I genuinely don't care. If I'm pissed, I'm like, I'm a little pissed off that you said that, right? So if I'm like, we don't have to work together and that's completely fine. And when I see you the next time, it's gonna be love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's I mean that right for
that
me.
Other person, they gonna be mad as hell and like,
and that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't saying I give a shit.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
I know that's fucking right.
But what I am saying is it does add to the awkwardness. Like as much as I don't give a shit, I'm not gonna go home and lose sleep about it. It does kind of suck. Like I'm a nice person. Let's be nice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when somebody wants to hold on to that, it'd be like, damn, you know. But I'm always able to bounce back and be like, you're lost, because I never, if I can, you know, confidently say after reflecting, like I didn't intentionally try to hurt you, disrespect you, me speaking up and that offending you, just simply speaking up, not saying something crazy. That's more on you than it is on me, though. Like, and that's not a healthy environment for either of us, because especially in a professional setting, if I'm here to do a job, part of my job is being transparent, is being honest, is making sure we get the best possible product. So if I have to constantly feel caged by, you know, my words or how they may make you feel, that's personal, big dog.
Right.
You know
Let's talk about that.
And I'm not going to keep repeating myself.
Personal versus business. Like, what has that been like for you? Because when we work in business, people naturally become our friends, right?
True.
They naturally become people that we...
Yeah, I would say that too.
Extent,
yeah, like everybody I've worked with hasn't. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. Like you get closer.
We naturally care for each other in a way. So what does that look like, separating those two? Because people take a lot of things personal.
I agree with that.
I think the biggest thing, and I think this goes across the board, like I know we're speaking professionally, the average person just isn't that comfortable being that in tune with their emotions. Like, absolutely. That's something that's worked against me. Like, in so many of my circles, friends, family, professional, like, I make it my job to, like, be emotionally aware, to, like, and especially for myself, like, internally. Like, a lot of times I over-talk because I'm trying to make sure everybody understands and is comfortable, but that over-talking, that vulnerability, it makes them cower in. It's like, this bitch weird as hell. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, well, damn, excuse me for trying to give you a comfortable platform to be yourself or for us to get the job done. And I think when it comes to having to separate it, it's kind of just like everything else. One, you have to know your audience. There are some people that despite being uncomfortable, they can do it. You just kind of got to warm them up to the idea of them seeing that this is a safe space. It's other people, it don't matter how safe you make the space, they ain't never doing that shit. Let them do their job and go home. And if they good at it, that might not be such a bad thing, because you don't got to kiki with everybody. You know what I mean? But in the business relationships that have become friends, and I've had some personal relationships that have formed into business relationships, it can get tricky. But if y'all, it just depends on the person. I hate that everything is so conditional. That is true, though.
It is very conditional.
You know, like, cause I've been the only woman on a few teams. Yeah. And it's like I'm damn near one of the smartest at this table. Yes. But I say something, y'all don't really hear it. 3 minutes later, this nigga say it. and it's like a great idea. Or when I said, like, even if it processed, y'all was quiet, and it's really just because you were uncomfortable that the woman said it.
And I'm gonna say that. And I'm gonna say that. I just said that.
It kills me, and it's like one of those things when I bring it up, you know, at first they don't see it, blah blah blah, and then later I've had some instances though when we talk about it, like they were able to reflect, like, oh, because of how I was raised or in my culture or this, like, yeah, and I appreciated that. Like, I could fuck with somebody that's honest, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like when it wasn't intentional, like I can be forgiving when you are actually honest about like what you did and you did the work to figure out where that even came from.
Because men are conditioned that way. Tye just sent me something that speaks to exactly what you said. It was a tweet basically saying, whenever a woman says something, a man has to always negate it or like downplay it in some type of way. And I think a lot of men do that, especially in business, especially working with you in business, because they want to have the biggest dick in the city. Like Lori Harvey said. I mean, not Lori Harvey. Lori Mo said they want to have the biggest dick in the city. And it's like, we have to give women that space to actually get... Because I swear to God, working with women, they would get shit done. Yes. They would get shit done. So we have to give women that space and the opportunity to make those changes, to evolve the project. Yeah. What are some of your favorite projects that y'all have worked on? I'm sorry.
Look, we over here like... Well, for me, my first thought was working with you, right? Because I remember, and we'll go more into this in something else, but me and Diamond have come a long way.
What was it? That was 2017. 2017.
Yes, that was 2017. Wow. And I think just having, like, starting from everything within its infancy, like, I remember us having that conversation about, like, Tye, I want to have a podcast. And then, like, getting that team together is, like, Diamond makes me not be so serious. And I think that's something that I really love, that, like, she's like, oh, I want to try this, and I want to try that. And I'm like, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do that. Working with you has been really refreshing for me because it always keeps me on my toes. And you're always like, I don't like that, I like this. And also working in fashion is really fun because I think it's something outside of my usual realm. I love creativity as a whole, and I think fashion just has like a lot of room for that. Like working on like campaigns and fashion shows and stuff like that. Those are so much fun. Like this year with the 27 campaign that I worked on with Beasley Designs. And honestly, this season of the podcast has just been such a beautiful journey just to see like where you started at to where you are at now and like all of those different looks, because you like, damn, like it has been since like 2017 and we came a long ass way. So I just think or any team that I've gotten to have the room to be myself and come to the table, because I have a lot of creative ideas and I'm like, I hope they like that. Like, I don't know. Because I didn't know how you would like about the Blue Room idea with the photo shoot. I was like, I don't know what the fuck she gonna say. Because when Diamond don't like something, she be like, I don't know. And I'm like, if you even question it,
I know. Maybe, and that's my problem. I never be like, no, I don't like it. I be like,
And then let me know, nope, go back to the drawing board, right? So those two probably have been my favorites.
Yes. I would say it's been a pleasure working with you for sure. No, please don't cry. Both of y'all got cancer moves.
I'm a crier. I'm not gonna start.
It really has though. You too gangster, like
right. I am too
gangster for me. But
I be crying. Don't get me wrong, especially on like certain movies and shit. Oh my god, I boo-hoo. Like that first. I'll talk about that later.
Screaming.
Favorite projects. So I would definitely say this podcast is dope. And I think both facets of it, working with you independently on it now, but I started working with you on it through What's the Word. And both times, like we have fun. It's good energy. I would also say it was funny you mentioned fashion, because that was one of the first things that popped to my head too. All the work that I've done with Sincerely Richard, which is now being rebranded as Black Fashion Worldwide. Yes. So official rebrand on the way.
Okay.
But, and because under that I get to do so many things. Like, yes, I'm producing maybe the web series where we're interviewing designers, but I'm also coordinating the events, the launch parties, the fashion shows. Like, they stressed me the hell out, but every fashion show that I was ever over, like, it would always turn out great. We got such great feedback, and I had a good time. Like, and just watching people have a good time and seeing these designers that are often overlooked get a platform in the city to put their shit out there. Like, that is so dope to me. I think a lot of my least favorite ones fall under the work I've done in TV, except maybe I worked on a project called Women in Film for Turner Classic Movies. And we did the Chicago interview portion. There's a black woman, Jacqueline Stewart. She's a film guru. I hope that's not an offensive term because I really can't think of the proper one. But she's a professor at the University of Chicago. And so just working with her, and I was the manager over the Chicago set. That was cool. One, because kind of tying it back to the first point, it was some people real upset that I was the manager because I was probably I hired everybody for the project, and outside of the PAs I had, I'm certain I was the youngest person on the team.
Wow.
On top of the fact that a lot of the people that I hired, I just I start with who I've worked with before and I know does good work, work smart, not hard.
Right.
So it was a couple older white guys that from before.
Wow.
So to come back, and I think they probably first met me when I was in just a PA role. So, to see it and just kind of see how they had to adjust to certain things. That was interesting. I do
Listening
get a
to
kick
a
out
black
of shit
woman.
like that. I get a big kick out of shit like that because it's like, jokes on you, buddy. But outside of that, it was just dope seeing a black woman who had so much stature and just so many achievements behind her being the focal point of hosting this series and getting to, like, we lit up when we saw each other because, for some of the days we were the only black people there. Like, I definitely hired other black people before they'd be like, she don't hire black people, I hire black people. So that shit was cool.
Wow, you have done some amazing things. What did you
I
not
often
like
don't
about
think
I was gonna ask you two questions. What did you like about what did you didn't like about TV production?
The way that the energy around television and just kind of like the way that you do things is outdated.
Okay.
It's a system very much rooted in hierarchy. But it's like, so they will treat a PA like shit easily with no problem. Like, I've been very blessed to be on some of the TV sets that I've been on because the things that I've seen and heard out of control. And that's that. I think that's like the entertainment industry because I've been to one of the biggest. I won't say which one in case I get famous. Matter of fact, I don't want to get famous
come
actually,
on.
but when I get rich, I don't want them to take my money.
There you go.
But I've been to one of the biggest like talent agencies out in LA. And this girl who was an intern there was like sharing her stories. This was before I like really got into stuff. She's sharing her story, and she was mentioning this time that I tell the story all the time that one of the agents threw a stapler at her.
What?
And me being me, I asked. I said, "So did you throw it back?" And everybody in the room looked at me like I was crazy as fuck for asking that. But I just felt like that's a natural question.
Right.
Yeah.
Why the fuck
what
you
the
throwing
fuck?
anything at me?
Exactly.
And like, why am I just standing there taking it? So like, I use that example to show like that's just kind of the thing. Like, anything can go on TV, and sometimes that shit can be really fun, but most of the times it's very toxic, especially because your average work day is 12 hours.
Yeah.
Some shows when you go overtime is 16, and then they still expect you back there, and it ain't even been 8 hours for you to go home to shit, shave, and shower. Like, it's just not a healthy environment.
Intense.
But I think and that's just more so like the in the field production. There's office jobs in television. There's so many other things that you can do that aren't this intense, but it is still a 24-hour industry.
Wow. I don't think I would last, honestly. I really don't think so. I have a question for the both of you though. Because she said something very valuable, like as far as like having all this stature, and she made it over these people that have been there, and they hated to see her make it. So when was that moment for y'all when y'all was like, okay, I'm not just lucky. I've actually worked for this. Like, I'm not just dreaming. It plays a little bit into imposter syndrome, but it's more so like taking full credit of the things that you've accomplished.
I think for me that has come this year. Like when I launched my production company in February, because I started to realize a lot of people would like come to me and be like, Ty, you know somebody to do this? Ty, you know somebody to do that? Like, and it's so many things that I do outside of like putting productions together and just outsourcing to other creatives. And I was like, okay, so I'm actually good at what I do. Also, when I hosted a fireside chat for City Year, it was Ripples of Hope. They have like a fundraising event every year. And I got to talk to the coach of the Chicago Sky and one of the players. And I sat at like the table with them. And it was really dope that they were so nice and understanding and all of that stuff based off of the energy that I carried, right? And when I also talk to people where they're like, I've never seen people do things that you do. And I'm like, damn, so I am that bitch kind of, right? I think this year came into that because I've realized one of my big love languages is words of affirmation, as much as I don't like to admit. And when you hear enough people say that, it starts to ring true. Like, damn, I really do be doing my shit. And also just looking at the feedback and comparing it to what you see other people do outside of your work. Like, our work definitely stands out just based off of how people receive it. And it has just been very recent because for a long time I thought it was like cute to be coy and be like, well, I just try to stay out the way. No, I'm going to take up space. No, I'm going to know that I'm good at what I do.
Yes.
And you're going to respect what I do. Especially because I feel that from my clients. I feel the love that I give because I believe that people treat you how you treat them. And I've never had a super bad experience with that. So I think at the ripe age of 26.
I think I don't think I've had that moment yet. I think and it's funny because when you mention like, well, I know I worked hard for this. Like, well, yeah, that applies to a few things. Like, I had to work for all that shit. But it never like settles with me. Like, it's like I know I'm that bitch. But
is
like,
it because we always want more?
Maybe. I think I'm on the cusp of that moment, and what I'm hoping God is sending me right now is not even directly related to media. Is much bigger than that. So I'm hoping like maybe that'll feel like the moment because I'm real big. Like, what makes me happy is making other people happy, to be honest. And like, I know that can be a toxic thing. Like, I can make myself happy. That's not what I'm saying. But like, my dream, when I think about my dream job, I don't really know that I have one. My dream is just to make other people's dreams come true.
Yes, it's
like,
the
that's
purpose
just
within
kind of
it.
why I have a
Same.
service-based business. And like, I want to hear other people's ideas. Like, I have a million ideas for original content. Some I've started on, some I do plan to finish. But it's like I get more excited when this person's coming to me telling about their business, and now I can just make a whole like branding thing for them. So I don't know that I've had it, but I guess a few that maybe like other people would say, probably like TV shit. Like, I think my parents ate up the Turner Classic Movies one. I always say I hate working in TV, right? So last year I did a TV job. I worked on season 4 of The Chi. And I posted my work ID one day on some random shit like, I hate working in TV, but look at this bitch back in TV. Like, just being funny. Like, I'm thinking I'm just being normal. And the feedback went crazy. Everybody's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Like, you're that. And I had to ask
You're
my
that bitch.
boyfriend, I'm like, is this a big deal? And he looked at me like, is that a serious question? Like, he got on
I
that
got
with me.
18,000 alarms.
And I'm like, no, I'm for real. Like, is this a big deal? And he's like, girl, yeah. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, okay. Like, so I don't know that I've had it because it's hard for me to feel them. Like, I just be kind of doing what I got to do. And,
But that's something that you should definitely take a moment to just be like, damn, I really did this shit. Like,
It's so important.
So important.
Because people
to give yourself that grace, that love, and then like to be like just gloat a little bit. Like, I did this shit.
Yeah, and just be present because I know, like, I know Cindy can speak to this. Like, I work so hard. I work all the time for a lot of other people, and I completely agree with working with other people makes me so happy. I love when people like, well, like, I have this idea, and I'm like, I'm so excited. But if you do not stay present with yourself, and I always get called the mom.
Because burnout is real. Burnout is very real.
It is. And like, if you steady working with other people and not stopping to realize and take that time, like, you'll be exhausted and you're like, damn, like, I have all of these things and it's like I haven't been present enough. And that's something that I'm working on because I'm bad with that too. Like, it's so tough. My therapist is like, celebrate yourself. Have an event or something that's just for you and not for someone else. It's hard though. I do validate that. It's really tough.
So yeah, what does that balance look like though? It gets hard when you're a creative because there really isn't no balance with it. Somebody was like, I quit my 9 to 5 job just to work every fucking day, every fucking hour.
Yes.
And like, that's really what it's like.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. When you stay disciplined, at least. Like, it's very easy to get sidetracked. Because I've definitely had some days when I'm in control of my time and I'm like, shit, today about me, motherfucker. Like, I'm kicking it, you know what I mean? But you have to still set those deadlines and act like you do have somebody to answer to, because you answer to yourself. You're answering to your future clients. You know what I mean? Like, you need to keep putting some work in and build that portfolio so people can see, oh, this is what she does. And now you got another check coming in, because it's not consistent. It's not steady like how it is at a traditional jobs.
Yes.
So I mean, I think the balance can be there. I think Ty spoke to a great point of just being present. That so often when you get so caught up into it, and maybe that's a thing why I don't feel like I've had the moment. Like maybe I haven't basked in it enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just being present will help with that balance as well. That's kind of the connection I'm trying to make, because it's just like when you're there, you're aware of what's going on. You're getting the work done. Now the task or the project is completed. Now you can sit and be present with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can take a little deep breath because you're allowing your body to realize this task is complete before you take on the next one.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like the traditional job, I know our family's like, what the fuck these bitches really do for work? They out here selling pussy.
I ask that so much. What? How are my sisters? Them the main two. What do you do? Like my sister literally looked me dead in the eyes when they was like, so what do you do? And I'm like, girl, we done been over this 100
Right,
times.
damn.
Like, sometimes I tell their ass I don't know. Sometimes I really do tell them I don't got a job. Like, if you call me, Tommy, that's cool. Whatever's easier. I don't know.
I mean, for me, my family has always been supportive. Even if I could tell they didn't know, like, what I was doing. It's weird because creativity has always been something where it's like, oh, that's good for you, baby. Like, it ain't something that people take seriously until everybody. Yeah, it's like, that's so cute. She's taking her little pictures and shit. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like,
her little podcast.
Right, look how doing her little thing. My aunties be in the comments on Facebook like, oh my God, yes, auntie baby. And I'm like, you don't even know what I'm like. They
don't understand.
My auntie that passed, she said, I don't know what the fuck you be doing, but I got your back. I'm with you. And I'm like, God damn. But I love the support though.
That support is
and I think that's because they know how hard I work. Like how Cindy was just like, what do you like? It's hard to explain because I feel like a lot of people put me in a box because I kind of started as a photographer and all the other stuff. It's just naturally rolled into everything, right?
Yes.
So that's, I think, is the hardest for me with my family, with them just not thinking that I do like baby pictures and weddings, and because I hate that shit. I hate it so much. Like if I need money, I'll do it. But I think when you do freelance and then like, girl, she got all the time in the world. No, I don't. I'm busy from the time I wake up until the time I go to sleep. And I think just explaining that to my family, and they like, okay, well, we'll just be ready when we recognize what you're doing. Like, I think it wasn't until, like, I was being a part of, like, published books, and they was coming to gallery shows, and they was like, oh, so you serious? And I'm like, I'm dead ass. Like, this is not an option for me. And I'm happy that they've been behind me 100%. Now, were they fun the shit? I mean, my daddy be like, I throw you a couple dollars, no problem. But otherwise, they just from afar on Facebook. We love that.
That's it. That's really all they got for you. They don't understand, like, at its height, like, exactly what it is. But we do. We're creators.
And it's a generational thing, I think.
It is. It is a generational thing.
So, in case it sounded like something else, my family does full out support me. My mom and my sister are on
They
my
just
team
want to know what it is.
Yeah,
right?
my father has offered to be a PA. Like, I'll go get the donuts. Like,
that is so
sweet. You don't even know where you gonna get the donuts from.
That is
like,
the sweetest,
chill out, bro. Like. But so the support is there for sure. It's just the memory or how to explain it. But I think to your point, it's generational. Like it is hard for them to process it, especially like parents, right? Because like traditional jobs were the only real jobs. Like you gotta stack or starve type shit, and you don't go work for this white man whether you want to or not.
Yep.
Until you get something that on your own does monetize, which my parents ended up doing. They became entrepreneurs, but starting off. They was working for somebody, and you got to keep that constant paycheck coming in. You don't get that paycheck up for shit in the world. So hearing me say, "Nah, I'm cool on TV, and I'm gonna figure this shit out." Like, I had a plan, but that didn't really work out. But that's okay because I'm still standing. You know what I mean? But it's just hard for them to process because I think one thing that so many people know, whether we acknowledge it or not, is you don't really have a lot of stability as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer. Like. You literally check to check for real. Like, you got to make sure your next bag is secure.
You got to hustle. People don't understand that. Being an entrepreneur.
So I think that scares them. Like, especially, my parents are hustlers, so they know what it takes. And it's not that they think I'm incapable. It's just like, damn, we don't want our baby to have to work that hard.
Exactly.
Same. Sure, but,
that shit is full time.
Chase your dreams.
Yes. Yeah. Full time is a completely different beast than I think balancing it with another job. Like, I've been a full time freelancer. It's just a different challenges, but not knowing, I feel like that makes you work that much harder when you like, well, it's all I got. I ain't got nothing to fall back on. That shit is
I've
something
never
else.
took the full freelancer route yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm not ready for that. That'll be the moment I put my big girl panties on. I ain't ready for that yet. So, Cindy, what did you start out originally doing as far as like in the creative scene? When did y'all both know, like, oh, I'm a creator. I'm not a regular bitch. I'm not a 9 to 5 type of girl.
Great question. So my first like ever anything media related job that I can currently remember, at least like post college type shit, was a PA TV job. I think I did like a few days or so.
Did you major in that in college?
I just majored in communication.
Okay.
I did a few days on Black Ink Cruise Chicago. Okay. Like years ago. And it was cool. It was smooth. One of my friends, she was already doing it. She couldn't make it, so she passed it to me. Like, put your people on. That shit.
Yes, speak to that.
I would say it even started before then, though, because in high school, I was a part of True Star, and I was in their radio program. So I got to host my first radio show on Power 92. And, we learned production and all of that shit. So it definitely started before I came into the professional world. I don't know when I knew I was interested in it. I never wanted to grow up and be like a news anchor or like, I'm good at hosting things. Like I was the kid in grammar school at the talent show. I never performed, but I hosted every year. Because the principal was just like, you're really
you were supposed to be doing something. Yeah, so it's
like, but even then, like me hosting, it's just me hosting. Like I was good at it, but I never left the stage like, oh my God, can't wait till next year. I knew I was coming back next year because the shit worked out, but like, I don't know.
But the things we're naturally good at, they always seem to manifest in some type of way.
And I think that's what's happening for me. That's my story. That's my journey. Like, as much as I am intentional about so many things, I do take time to think about, like, what did I enjoy? What am I good at? How can I do? But I'm not like, oh my God, I have to do this. I can't wait to be this superstar. I'm telling you, I don't want fame. I just want the money.
I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
A lot of things I do want to do, like, I'm going to do them under, like, little pseudonyms and shit. Y'all won't even know it's me, but y'all going to be singing my shit.
Funny as hell. Mine's is very similar. I think it started in high school because I went to an art program. In like my school had different like academies. It was a business. It was military, it was art, and it was science, and I chose the art program. So I knew that I was creative then. Like I created like the talent show, and I was on morning announcements, and in high school I had like a radio internship, and we had like a radio like they just let us do whatever the fuck we wanted that day. They was like, y'all just host it and do whatever. And I was like, damn, we live on the radio. So I knew then, especially when I was deciding what I wanted to do in college. Because I was telling my mom, I was like, damn, I don't know if I should go for photography. Because I was like, people back then, which was like 10 years ago. I'm saying like it was 30 years ago. But it makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Like I didn't know creative. So I was like, I don't want to do that. My mom was like, do you like it? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, then do it. So I majored in fine art photography in college. And then after that, I knew that I loved it. And I knew I needed that representation so bad. So all of my steps, even after that, was very, very intentional. Now, as far as like the branding and the production stuff that I do now with other people, that happened off of just me wanting to help people and wanting to work with people when I thought that they needed the help that I once needed. I hate seeing people struggle and you don't do shit to work. Like, especially if I like you. Okay, let's make the distinction. I'm not helping Pookie, JJ, all the motherfuckers. If your shit not good, we not working together. But I believe that, like, it's not a competition.
So people need to give up their rap dreams.
If you're not good, get that shit up. The fuck, hang it up.
I think my story's a little different from y'all.
Yes.
Because you might not be the best at rapping, but
you a writer.
Be a damn good producer. Right? You know what I mean? Like, you might be so learn to pivot. Because shit, it was something you said that I wanted to piggyback off of. But just when I remember it, I'll share. But that pivoting is
vital. Know when to give it up.
Hold them and fold them.
How I mentioned like
transition.
It's not all about the fame. So many people chase that because they think that automatically comes with money, or
what
what seals success, and it's not. And like, even me saying I'd rather the money, it's not even so much about the money, it's more the impact. Like,
yes.
if I got to get famous to have some impact, then sure, but I don't think I do. Like, I can have impact. Like, something you were speaking to made me think about, I was really good at just speaking in general, because I would do, like, oratory contests where you would recite, like, poems and perform speeches and shit. And I'm, like, super passionate about that, like, on some nerd shit. Like, that's just
I'm a nerd.
I love that.
So in doing that, it made me realize that I do have a gift for speaking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I can see myself maybe becoming a public speaker in some capacity, like, no politics or no shit like
Hell
that.
no.
I honestly think my journey's a little different from y'all. I had no clue that I was a creative. Like, when I went to college, I said, I'm going to give me a 9 to 5. I'm going to work in corporate. Like, this is going to be my life. I'm going to be like... Yes,
corporate.
I had no clue I was a creative, but I've always been like a reader and a writer. Yeah. So like those things just naturally transitioned for me. But yeah, I'm happy that y'all got that chance to experience like the creative journey early on and like understand what that would look like for y'all, because I had no clue of it. I really feel like I'm still a fish out of water right now in media.
Your journey
Like I really feel like I'm a fish out of water still. Like I'm still learning the politics in the media industry, learning what sounds good, what looks good, learning who I am throughout the entire journey as well. And I think especially Cindy, like you definitely have built me up to be like, okay, just like endorse yourself in it. Like, just show up as that. You know, don't be scared. Don't be shy and shit like that. And I think
nobody like a weak bitch.
Oh,
nobody likes a weak bitch.
They
and like,
a mile away, so.
It takes some time to even get comfortable on camera and like having people see me and like being visible. Like those things are like a little like nerve wracking, but it's like obviously something is going on if I'm attracting people that actually fuck with me and like you know things like that. So
you get great feedback.
I do, which I'm really grateful for. So I understand like my alignment, but it's just like, damn, how did I even end up here? Type shit, because I majored in psychology and sociology, so I've always been like a what's going on, curious type of bitch.
Right. That's me.
So I've always been like curious and wanting to know like questions and like people's lifestyle and perspectives and things like that. But I think it naturally transitioned for me in that area.
Do you think you'll ever make a pivot, like with where you are now? You're still figuring out, and like you know how you feel, and you mentioned like you're figuring out who you are now in this new space too. Like, do you see yourself growing more into being like, I am a personality, like this is me, or do you think you'll end up pivoting to something else to still kind of utilize this?
Come on, Cindy.
Oh, that's a great question.
That was good.
Honestly,
that's a little okay.
Honestly, I do see myself pivoting. Like, I love creating content. I love talking, having conversations. I think it's important. I think I'm very knowledgeable in a lot of areas, and I guide conversations very well. Yep. But I do see myself pivoting, but not just yet. Probably like in 10 years. And I'll be like a writer, and I'll have like my own like seminars type shit. That's what I see for myself further down. Yeah.
I think it's about building legacy too. Yeah. Like a lot of the newer stuff when I work with clients, I'm like, please don't try to get as many people's attention and you lose sight on like the quality of what the fuck you're trying to put out, because social media is so temporary. You want to create work that people will remember and they will stand the test of time. Where you go places for years and they're like, damn, I remember you did the da-da-da-da-da-da. And I think that also is something that's really important. Like, go outside, touch grass. Like, please remember
No, I think social media just got people head fucked up to the point where, like Cindy was saying, like, okay, it's like, I can do this shit, but it's like, I can't do this shit without being present on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's different for everybody, but it's definitely a point where it's like, people just want to go viral now.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's really just not what it's about. It's about creating, and that's what I learned this season, like just creating some good content.
That feels good,
that's relatable to people. You personally been through it yourself, or you just want to know more about it. Something that's just authentic to the journey.
Yeah.
So what do y'all feel like, how has it been working with me this season? In this this podcast overall?
I would say it's been fine. I think we definitely had, like, if we're going full transparent.
Let's go.
We walked in here, Diamond, like, y'all better be honest. Don't hold back.
That's how I sound, Cindy.
Transparent. I think, no. I need to stop doing that shit, because I'm real bad at that. Somebody say something, yeah.
You so funny.
I bet you somebody gonna focus in on that, too. Like, it's haters. I got to catch myself. But But no, some for real shit. I would say we, like, just the three of us, not even considering new spaces or nothing. I think we had hiccups that we shouldn't have had at this point. But I think that that's also okay because it's a reminder when you start at the top of something to go back through everything, to fine comb through everything. I realized some things about myself, like kind of how I got brought in. I should have asked more questions. I just made a whole bunch of assumptions. I think we learned, it was just different things. You know what I mean? So, but I'd say even despite all that, it's been a good thing. One, because I'm a believer. Anytime you can learn something, it's not time wasted. So I think we've learned a lot behind the scenes and on camera this season. And like we kind of mentioned, it's always fun. I done made new friends and shit. Shout out our engineer Rail.
Hey,
shout out to
we
Rail.
love Rail. We love him.
So it's been fun. I don't really have like real complaints.
You know,
like,
this
I got my
production made me
moments,
like,
Hell
you
yeah.
was sitting, I was, sometimes I have dreams about this, Cindy.
Oh my
You
God.
was sitting, not like that. You was sitting right there. It made me feel like, okay, like, it made me feel like I was on TV. She was like, would you do that? Would you,
I don't
would you
play
do that
that
if you was on
shit.
TV?
Yeah,
Would you
come
start over
on.
when you was on TV? I'm like,
Love that. Love that.
No.
Because my thing is like, what is my thing? So you have to just really kind of like, one, set the tone. Like, I am so big on quality. Like, I'm super chill. People think I'm a bitch, and maybe there's some science to that. I don't know, but I think anybody who truly knows me knows I'm cool as shit.
That is.
But I will
Yes.
always admit the things that the things that do kind of turn me into a bitch or like a super snob is a professional setting that is just completely unprofessional or like
Same.
like I use events a lot as my example. Because so many people just throw an event together, but they don't even consider the consumer's experience. They don't consider the logistics
Talk about
behind
it.
it.
Girl,
And
they
it's
got
like,
the
it's just a
women
bunch of
empowerment
people-
panels going for
Girl,
$300.
Just a bunch of girls in a
about
room
it.
listening to some women
I'm not
talk
doing
about
no
shit
more
that
fucking
I could have
brunches.
saw on your Instagram.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Speak.
Like, but I don't, and you charge me all this money, but I'm walking away with what? Maybe a notebook you just got from Dollar Tree?
And
Like,
a
Thank
picture.
you.
On
Bro,
the grand
you threw a
background.
motherfucking sticker on that
you know
shit.
what I
Don't
mean?
play
Like,
with me,
stop
bitch.
playing in my face. So it's like I'm big on that. That's why I'm on you. Like, would you be sitting on TV doing this and don't do that? You know what I mean? Like you are a star. Like I call you
Period.
superstar on purpose because I know you have it. Do you
Period.
want to be it? That's for you to decide. You know
But
what
that
I
has
mean?
definitely
Like,
been a journey, just, and like that's what I said I spoke to earlier. Like, oh, okay, I didn't realize like I didn't realize the longevity of the moment. Basically,
Yeah.
like I was just doing shit. I feel like when I first got endorsed in like blogging and media and stuff, I was just doing it for fun. But it was like, oh wait, this shit is actually serious. I actually can beat something out of this. So
Yeah.
I really thank you for that. That was some great advice from you.
Thanks,
Yes.
sis. I love when I make a little
Yes.
impact. Making my day.
I think for me this season, since it's like I've been here since the first season when we was recording and one of my friends like little small room and we was just me and Diamond
Girl,
was like
I was on
like
the
we
couch
was
like
in that
this.
bitch chunked up but we was making it happen and the quality was good. This season has been a lot of learning experience because I'm always so used to me and Diamond working alongside people and then they already know what to do. This has been a lot of like, okay, we gotta learn all together. I didn't even consider that because we've never had to do that shit because the first season wasn't filmed. And then when we did start filming, What's the Word was leading
Right.
that. And they already knew how to run all
Yeah.
of those things. So they looked at that and we were like, okay, cool, that looks great. This season was
That made me realize how much like What's the Word, like they are amazing because I'm like
Shout
I
out
didn't
for
realize
sure. Shout out. The
the
fuck?
editing, the fucking graphics, like all of that shit was
it crisp,
insane.
beautiful
Right.
quality.
A lot of
Yes,
that
great
was
quality.
Specifically Cody, so I have to
Shout
give
out to Cody. Seriously,
yes.
shout out to Cody for that because like I always just got stuff on the back end. Like, okay, Ty, what do you think about this? Okay, cool, that's good to go. You know what I'm saying? Because when we worked together, it was like, What's the Word? And then like me and Diamond, and like as long as me and Diamond agreed, and What's the Word sent it to us, and it was great, cool. That's why I brought in Cindy because I knew I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? And so
I don't think I knew that.
in specific, you did okay.
I didn't know that.
I
So
remember
that's
talking
why
to Diamond
didn't-
like I don't know.
That first I'm like, damn, was it just all the personal shit I had going on in my life? And I'm like, no, like I was transparent about that. But that, even when I have so much going on, if it's to the point where it's going to truly affect my work, then I just don't take it on. Like I was able to balance it. But I'm like, well, how did we get here? Like, and it's because I didn't realize that that's where you were. I'm thinking like, oh, Ty got this shit in the bag. I'm just the help. You know what I mean? So when I didn't get that transparency off back, I didn't know to be like, okay, well, here's ground zero for us to start and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
blah.
And I think I didn't even know that, right?
Yeah,
like I knew
facts.
that like I respect Cindy's work, right? I know that she is somebody that knows how things work. So I was like, I remember talking to them like, we need her. Okay. And we was like, we gotta call Cindy, right?
Cindy, I know, like, she a gangster.
Like, and I feel like Cindy nicer than me. Like, Cindy is much nicer than me. I'd be like, no, we're not doing it. Don't care.
But I think what Cindy has brought, like, to the experience and the team is definitely like that overhead professionalism of what consumers would take in and what they would notice, and like the small logistical things. Yep. And so I'm really grateful for that. Like, you definitely picked up where we didn't see. Yep. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I think like I am detail oriented, but I'm also a very big picture person.
You're also a creator, so you help a lot with the content. You know, so you see kind of visually. You see the bigger picture of things.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, well,
which is very normal.
Right, that's very normal.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I consider myself a creative too, but I realize that like my stronger skill set is in the logistics of things.
Yeah.
So when I think about that and I just kind of started branding myself as the logical creative. Because I'm never gonna give up my creative aspirations or my love for it. And like I said, I love building brands and doing all this stuff. But there's so much logistics that goes into it. People want to have a fashion show and ain't even considered like where models should change or where this.
I called her for a fashion show.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You have to know that shit for it to run smoothly. So, call me if you need please
call Cindy.
Contact both of my girls. They out here working. I'm prostituting y'all.
Creative needs.
Contact them.
I'm your girl.
Y'all have any questions for me?
Oh yes. Oh what? Well, can I get my phone, Lex? Shout out to Lex. I got my questions. Okay. I wrote them down. Here we go. Wait, Cindy, do we mix them?
Girl, we just do whatever. I might just come up with something.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm like, do we mix them? Okay. So I wrote them down because I'm a Virgo, right? And so, cool. Well, my first question is, what has been your favorite thing about your 20s? Because I thought about, like, what this season is and in the conversation of you saying that you wanted to show your growth. You feel like a lot of people like put you in the box and you want to showcase more of that. So what was your favorite thing about, well, you're still in your 20s, but what has been your favorite thing about your 20s?
That's a great question. I honestly would say the hard lessons, like the shit I would never repeat again. Like learning myself through.
Wait, talking about what happened? What happened?
Like no, seriously. Like you know what I'm saying?
One and done. Why y'all got to keep doing the same stuff?
Yeah, so it's like those lessons have really helped shape me and shape my boundaries and shape like who I am as a person, just dealing with relationships, and like what I've allowed, what I didn't allow, the things that should have transpired that didn't. I think that's definitely been my favorite part of my 20s, just learning myself, I would say. Also creating, like, damn, who knew I was a creator? I was a late creator in the game, y'all. I was like 24. I was an old bitch in this shit. That is old to get started with it. I think that has been one of my favorite moments as well, just creating and being well received from a lot of people. That was definitely a blessing, so.
I got my phone because I'm going to still want to tie questions.
Okay.
She has sent me hers.
Yes.
Where'd they go, though? Because I'm going to... Okay, I think here we are. Nope. Okay, what was your second question?
Damn, look. Okay. Here
you sent me in a note.
Yes.
I'm retrieving it now. So her original question is, what are you looking forward to most about your 30s? And I want to tweak that a little bit. What's one thing, like, if you had to pick right now, like, you gonna make sure it happens in your 30s, like,
I'm gonna get that motherfucking bag.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, that's another lesson in my 20s. Like, I ran my credit down, like, I fucked my shit up, but I started putting the pieces back together now, so it's like it's transitioning now, but definitely gonna get to that bag. I don't know what type of way I'm gonna do it, but that's what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna just be... I might just go at the paint. They missing me at the paint. But I might have to do it. But no, like literally get to my bag. And I think continue to surround myself with like genuine people. I think that's so important. Motherfuckers, you don't know people. They'll take a knife and stab you in your back real quick. And like that's also something that in my 20s, just going through those type of relations, like friendships, losing friends or whatever. Just making sure like people have good intentions for me and I have good intentions for them. Like being a better person in my 30s. That. Yeah.
Like, are we allowed to piggyback?
Go ahead, man.
I think I definitely relate to the last point the most. Like who you surround yourself with is so fucking important.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's like, it's not to, I think for me, it's just about like you said, it's about good intentions. But it's also about growing together too, right? Like,
Yes.
and it doesn't mean just because I'm not growing with you doesn't always mean like, oh, I can't still talk to you, whether friends or family. But I do think it is important that maybe I do have to limit how much or the certain types of things we do together, because to keep you a part of my daily life, but we don't have shit in common outside
why
of
would I do
maybe
that?
like some of the ratchet shit we used to
Right,
do. Or,
speak to that.
You know, be my cousin, like maybe certain things. Like it just. It's like, it's not serving either one of us.
Say that.
You know what I mean? Because you are where you are, and that's where you want to be. So me being around and trying to be somewhere else might feel like pressure towards you, and you're not helping me get to where I want to be. So I commend you for that, and I certainly I look forward to the same thing. I'm starting that shit right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've already been
I'm
like
just-
transitioning.
yeah.
Just being a better
Family,
person. All of
partners,
that.
Like, I want all that
Setting
shit to be
boundaries for
beneficial.
everybody.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I had 2 more questions, and one of them is, what's an old habit that dies hard with you?
Damn, can you explain that a little bit? I know
So,
I've
like-
heard that before, but
So, like, old habits die hard is like something that you like. This is like a habit that like I want to break so bad.
like, I
It's
need to
so
let
bad,
this
and
shit
I
go,
know
but I
it's
can't.
bad, and I can't stop fucking doing it.
oh my God, I almost said something on this podcast. I'm not
What?
gonna say
What?
that.
Is
All that shit you did walking in here, y'all better be honest. Don't
Y'all better
hold
be
back.
transparent.
Y'all
Don't be
ready?
sitting up here acting
Is you
like
gonna
that.
tell
We're
the
not
truth
trying to hear that
tonight?
shit.
A habit that needs to die hard from me.
What? Now I want to know what it is.
First of all, sometimes good dick make you blind. But that's a habit that needs to die hard. Also, I'm gonna be.
I'm sorry, that tickled me.
I did not expect her to say
Yeah,
that.
but I like the transparency. You go, girl.
Right,
Y'all
right.
are crazy. Y'all got me on here wilding. I'm gonna be more intentional with my words. I would say like my words can be very vicious sometimes, especially
Okay.
like when you piss me off or you do something to me.
Yeah.
It can be very vicious, and
You said,
You
oh,
one of them
baby.
people I don't like when they get mad. They just say shit to hurt you. Like,
yeah, that's
She's
me.
grown
Say
though.
it.
She's grown significantly.
I've grown from that because I used to take everything
Anything,
so personal.
yes,
Like
yeah.
that's fair. But you know, and I appreciate that you can recognize that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you can recognize where that shit comes from. Because there's some people that would do that shit and swear that they're
nothing's wrong with them. Like you're mentally
Cindy
crazy.
said, baby, I'm triggered. I know somebody right now.
Somebody
right now.
starting shit. No, I don't have anyone specific in mind, but I have certainly encountered many people like this in life.
That same.
You gotta be putting up on
about
our engineer is playing right now.
That's crazy.
fuck you, real.
For
Ain't
real,
nobody trying
thank
to
you.
play.
Because my finger said it already. But no, I'm not even on that. This ain't no sneak diss or nothing. I've
Yeah,
I've been
I agree,
able
though.
to relate to that
It's
shit
just real
my
shit.
whole life, even if it wasn't directed at me. Like, I saw older cousins and siblings and
Can't
shit, parents
listen.
But
probably
you know what
Tell
it's
your shit.
about? Like
that.
you said, like
it's
you're
because
supposed
their feelings hurt.
Yeah, it's
And they
like
don't
you
know
that's
spoke
all.
to earlier
Hold they
though.
motherfucking balls
It's what
and
you
say,
spoke
"My
to
feelings
earlier.
hurt." Like,
Exactly. It's what you spoke to
Ab-
earlier about being
Yeah.
emotionally there for people, and sometimes it makes people a little like leery, like, oh, that's I can't confront my emotions. And
That's
so
so
that was the thing with me. My feelings would be hurt, but I didn't know how
You
to
had
express
say
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you try to hurt the other person. Hurt people. And I get that. But the only way we might come back from that is at least you can be real about it.
Yep.
Like, when you come and say, like, bro, I was just hurt. I
Hell
was tweaking.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I know none of the things I said was right or true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still struggling a little bit, but like, well, if you knew that wasn't true, why you ain't say it? But that's that part of my brain that's just always just on logistics. But for you to just act like, I hate a motherfucker who don't know how to apologize. Like,
Oh, now that's
you
not
just,
me.
You just think some time supposed to go past and you call me and act like it's all
Oh,
good.
Ooh.
Like, baby,
I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna get into
Say
it.
that one more time.
Because don't
And
fucking
that's,
play
that's
with
why
me.
I commend my man. Shout out to him.
Yes.
Shout out to the.
I'm
You
sure,
don't play
I'm
like
sure a
that.
few times he's like, girl, if you don't just get the fuck over it. And it's like, no, you're gonna say sorry.
Right.
I'm gonna say sorry to you. You feel me? I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna ask you for nothing. I'm not gonna get back. But
Absolutely.
I'm not no lame. Don't play with me like
Exactly.
Period. The
Period.
I
fuck?
love this
that. Yeah, I
energy.
did.
Talking about.
Y'all have any more questions for me before I do my last question for y'all?
I have one last question, but I know Cindy.
for it.
Screaming. To your listeners, what's something or a couple of things that you like them to know about you that they may not know already?
I love this
That's a
voice you
great
got.
question.
You heard me. I got my interview voice on.
Girl!
Very much so like. That's okay.
What's a
Keep
couple
going,
things
though.
about me? I really feel like I'm a nerd. Like I will spend hours researching something. It's really sick.
That's a sag in the flesh.
If I'm interested in something like astrology, for instance, that's one of the abysses I would fall into. Like I would be on the internet searching for hours on that shit. Like it's really sick. What else? You said 3 things.
Mhm.
I love swimming. Black people need to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Y'all need to learn how to motherfucking swim out here.
I know the basics.
It's a
I don't know
survival skill.
Same.
I've been swimming since I was a little girl.
Oh,
since I came out the
wow.
womb.
Shout out
Yeah.
to
That's
you.
when you supposed to start. Like one of my friends, she has her. My nephew's now 1. She has him in swimming lessons.
Yes,
So,
I
like,
want to get back into like, I don't know if it's like a program, YMCA or something that does
Yeah.
like swimming, maybe something like that. I think I'll
Yep.
do that this summer, honestly.
Yeah.
And one last thing that they don't know about me.
You would
really
like
hate
them to know.
men?
Damn, y'all was ready.
Do you really
Do I really hate
Some
men?
breaking
break the
news.
myth right now?
Honestly,
Let your
men
followers know.
I'm traumatized by men. Like, not in the way where I see them as like, oh my God, they're these horrible creatures, but in the way that a lot of them act a certain way that's real to me.
Right.
And that sounds like, oh, I'm like a feminist, but it's like, this is what I see.
And if you are
know?
a feminist,
I am a feminist. I've said that many times.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
I do not hate men, though. I do not hate men.
You
I
heard
love
it here first.
I love real niggas. I don't hate men, though.
That's it. That's the one.
What's your last question for us?
I know you said I'm like,
This thing on out.
What's one thing? What's one thing y'all people don't know about y'all?
oh hell no.
When you say people, you mean
Like people that,
might know we exist? Like,
yeah, the people that know you exist, but they don't really know who you guys are. Like from the outside looking in. What's one thing?
I don't really know. I'm sure there's tons.
Me
but a
too,
part of
I'm
me
like-
feels
I think Cindy, you're a little
I feel like sometimes
crazy.
I talk.
not her people enough. Now I want to know what my thing is. You guys
No,
give me
I love
what's
her.
mine.
She has fire energy. I love that energy.
Same.
I
What
love
I was
it.
going to say.
Screaming.
Sometimes I feel like I talk so much. It's like, how can you not know it about me? But I probably talk so much that people do stop listening. So they probably don't know what I'm saying. But one thing, I mean, I don't know if I call it crazy. I'd certainly say I'm very passionate. I think my people know that about me. Like, I think that's one of the things that even if it gets on their nerves, they appreciate. That's what they love. Like, you know, you're not going to play with mine. You know, you're not going to play about mine. And mine can be my family. It could be my friends. It could be, you know, my job.
Your money.
Like, whatever. Like, don't play. Like, and we cool. We can crack a lot of jokes. We had so much fun together. I'm very
Right.
adventurous. Maybe that's what people don't know about me. Because I do people think I have a stick up my ass. Certainly.
Same.
Like, I've been told,
Yeah, honestly,
I've been told I have breast
you was in
ambition,
here
face
twerking one
scholarship.
day, and I was like,
Are you kidding me? No, I was not. First of all,
You were. You remember
I
that
bobbed
day?
that back down. There's a difference. I bobbed
Got the
that
video.
back down,
Got the video.
and that only happened for like a few seconds, right? We were just having a little fun.
I got the footage.
I'm kidding.
But
I'm
no, I was
kidding.
not. I would love to learn how to twerk, but I would only kind of do that like at home for exercise.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Me.
Because like my aunts and my mama and all them gonna watch this. I can't be doing all
okay,
that, right?
I'm sorry.
But for real, probably that I'm adventurous because I think so many people think I'm just so serious and so stern, but like I love to have a good old time.
Okay.
Like, come on down to the paint.
Yes, I
have some
love a good
fun.
ass
We
time.
gonna
Good
have
food,
some
good
fun.
drinks, good people. That's a vibe.
Oh my God, that's
yes,
perfect.
that's
That's a perfect
it. That is
day.
it for me.
Something that people don't know about me. Like when you say people, like you mean like
What you
People on
think
the
people
internet?
wouldn't know about you?
oh, I think people on the internet. For me, damn, this is tough. I feel like a lot of people are very surprised that I'm an anxious person because I am very assertive. I feel like I always sound like I know what I'm talking about, but like I mentioned earlier, I do need a lot of words of affirmation in a lot of sense, but you would have to really know me to know that. Like Diamond has been talking about it lately. I've been crying a lot. Like I am so much so, and not in a bad way. Like my kids just graduated from high school, and I teach. So I'm a very much so hard outside, very soft inside kind of person. I am so affirming. I'm so loving. Like if you ever need a pep talk, I'm the person to call. Like, because I am a Virgo, I give you the pep talk, but I drag you at the same time because I just have to, right? But
Shit, I'm
like-
Ty, you did not need to say
talking about you, because you didn't have to say it like
Mind my
that though.
business,
I
bro.
hear that all the
Yeah.
time. They like, Ty, we got it. But I think those definitely are it. Like I am anxious, and I think that's very normal. In the fact that like I do have a very soft inside, and I am very mushy. I am very romantic. I am very loving. A lot of people do not see that side of me. But I'm like really cutesy on the inside. So yeah.
Well, thank y'all. It's been a pleasure. The conversation has been extremely fruitful, and I just want to thank y'all. I ain't gonna cry because I ain't tired. I really do want to thank y'all from like the bottom of my heart for just pouring into me all the time, even when y'all tired. Shit, y'all still pour into me. We still get the job done at the end of the day. So I'm very grateful for y'all. Y'all have some things coming up or anything that you want to say?
Oh, well, first, congratulations on another season.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank y'all for being a
thing.
part of my journey. Thank you.
You got this. Just be true to you. You got this shit. Things coming up. Nah, I don't even want to say nothing because you know how dates be.
Yeah,
all that shit. Just keep an eye out. I would say follow me, but that just feels so not like me. So do what y'all gonna do.
She too player.
I hope to impact the world in a positive way.
I'm in the same way. Like social media, like if I'm feeling cute, you'll notice because I upload a lot, but I ain't gonna be like, follow me on. I mean, like if y'all find me, find me. Shit. I'm a little hermit, but I just want to thank you for allowing me to work with you, and same thing with you, Cindy. Like it's been such a learning experience, and I'm a person that never believes that I stop learning. So it's just been really great to learn with launching a podcast with the production company. It's been a humbling experience, and I'm so excited that I got to do it with y'all.
Yes, so. And I couldn't have done it without y'all. So.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining the Diamonds Dosage podcast. Y'all know where to follow me. I'm going to shout myself out. I love that for you. At the Dosage Rant on Twitter and Diamonds Dosage on Instagram. And make sure you stay tuned for whatever I got next because it's the last shit.
No.
That was good.